Hey, college football early moves and best bets for Saturday, September 27th, 2025. He's Scott Rickenbach. I'm Scott Spreitzer, and we are DocSports.com. And we're going to talk about 6 games that saw some early sharp action on Sunday afternoon and early Sunday evening. Then we're going to have a couple of best bets at the end of the show. Before we get to all of that, if you're not yet a member at DocSports.com, just want to give it a trial run. Click on that link below the video. Get yourself set up for a free $60 account. And then you can use those free $60 on any of our daily packages over at DocSports.com. Well, Scott, I went back and I was checking how those early line moves did last weekend for this past weekend, and they went 5-2. If folks follow the money, they ended up 5-2 against the spread, so that's pretty cool. And it didn't really matter where the lines moved from where it started; they were covering no matter where the line finished, and so really good to see that. And hopefully, we can give some folks couple of pointers here along with filling them in on where the line moves happen to be. Let's kick things off, Scott. I know you're ready to go. Virginia Tech at NC State, ACC battle. Currently, NC State's laying 10.5 in this one. It opened 8.5. NC State getting early love here from a lot of sharp action. And boy, I tell you, I look at this Virginia Tech team, Scott, and it's just, this program has just dropped off over the last several years. They got hammered by double digits by South Carolina, Vandy, and Old Dom. And they give up 8.5 yards per play against Vandy and Old Dom. So I can see why the folks have jumped on NC State early in this one.
Yeah, and this is another one where I think the line move is absolutely going to be correct. I was surprised last week, Scott, that, like you said, 5-2. You don't expect that every week, that's for sure. But this is another one where I think following this early money is going to be a good thing, because it's, to me, a great situation with the Wolfpack. They started 3-0. Now they're off a 45-33 loss. And then you got Virginia Tech started 0-3, off a win, albeit against an FCS program. And against FBS schools, they've lost by double digits every single game. And I'm sure that Bailey is going to bounce back for NC State this week after 3 interceptions last week. So I'm thinking this move is going to be correct, and a home blowout is in the cards here.
I'm with you. I saw that opening number and I was like, wow, that's a couple of points shy of what I would have opened the number and what I made it. I make my lines a week in advance. So I'm making my lines for this coming Saturday before last Saturday's games were played. And I still had at that point NC State a couple of points higher than that opening line. So I agree with that early action. Now, this is an interesting game. Indiana at Iowa. The Hawkeyes are currently getting 7. The opening line saw Indiana as an 8-point favorite, the game in Iowa City. Scott, Indiana couldn't have played a more perfect game for what they want to do. Signetti had both sides of the line of scrimmage just pumped and ready to go right out of the get-go against Illinois. You know what Iowa wants to do, man? Iowa's going to want to slow this game down. They're going to want to run the football, make no mistakes, feast on another team's mistakes, punt deep, field position. That's Kirk Ferentz in a nutshell. And right now, the early action on Sunday afternoon came in on the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head with their game plan and what's going to be key for Iowa. And that's why, to me, this +7 that is currently sitting at is really a key number. If it gets below +7, I'm not so comfortable with it. But I would have to lean toward Iowa here because, like you said, Indiana just played a perfect game. Unbelievable blowout of Illinois there. But Iowa, their only loss was to Iowa State. That was on the road. They lost by just 3 points. I think that this game could be a very tight game. And like you said, if Iowa's defense can do what they want to do and they can play a kind of a clock management type of game here and accomplish that, again, they're pretty tough at home. So This is a tough one to call, but I do like Iowa at +7 or more.
Yeah, tough to just plunk your money down and lay a lot of points when you're playing in Iowa City. They're so disciplined normally under Ferentz. Next up to the SEC, we got Tennessee at Mississippi State. Mississippi State opened a 10-point dog. They've been getting the action, Scott. It's down to 8. One thing about Tennessee, man, they gave up 502 yards to Georgia and 24 first downs to Syracuse. Pass defense a little shaky. I didn't jump in on this one yet. I'm interested to see what your thoughts are with that number coming down a couple of points.
Yeah, this Mississippi State team is really on a mission this year. So, and last year after going 2-10, so completely different looking team early this season. This one, though, is a tough one for me to call because, Tennessee, yeah, they've given up some big yards, but they're such a strong team that I just don't trust here laying big points on the road like that. But I don't know if I'm sold on the Bulldogs at home here yet either.
I had Miss State real quick against Arizona State a couple of weeks ago. And Miss State got out to the big lead. It was like 17-0. They blew the lead. They're down 20-17. And ASU had the ball at the Miss State 2-yard line with a little over a minute to go, first and goal. They got it to the 1, and they decided, no, it was 17-all at the time. They decided at the 1 they were going to kick the field goal with about a minute to go, and they went up 20-17. And then Miss State comes back and is able to get the win with a late touchdown, 24-20. And I was a little bit surprised at the fact that they just kind of fell apart for a good chunk of that game after building that lead, because it was in Starkville. Wanted to talk about this game real quick, Scott, and let everybody know what happened with that initial line move, because it is one of a bunch of big games this week, man. We got marquee matchups everywhere. Penn State hosting Oregon in this one. Opening line was Penn State -3. They're now laying 3.5. To me, it's kind of a surprising move. I really thought this would open 3 on Sunday and still be there 24 hours later, but it's not the case.
Yeah, I'm surprised too. I mean, all I can figure is the home field factor, revenge, of course, from the Big Ten championship last year, and a rest edge with them coming off a bye week. But at the same time, Oregon is so strong. I got to be honest here, Scott, this is a game that I don't think I'm going to be involved with. This just looks like a hell of a game to watch and enjoy. This is college football, really one of the best matchups you could ask for. I think it's just going to be a fantastic game. And of course, Oregon's off a rivalry win over Oregon State, but of course, Big Ten stuff trumps that in a big way these days. So both teams are going to be ready to go. It should be just a fantastic game. -3 sounds about right. I can't really push this one way or the other.
Pretty sure I'm going to be with you, and then I'm going to be watching and not wagering on this one. I just want to take some notes and see which team is, for real. So that'll be a fun one to watch. Another fun one to watch, and thought it'd be interesting to talk about this one in the SEC because it is, again, another big game. And I'm a little surprised at this. The Georgia Bulldogs opened 3.5. It was bet down to 3 out of the blocks. Alabama getting the action in this one to knock it down 0.5 point. And I am a little surprised because there's a lot of folks out there that think Alabama, that program is slipping under DeBoer, while we saw Georgia fight tooth and nail on the road in Knoxville in front of 110,000 people, come from 2 touchdowns down, ended up winning that game. So again, a little surprised that the number moved towards the Tide. Scott, how about you?
Yes, I am. But I'm assuming that what people are looking at here is that, Alabama has won 9 of the last 10 meetings. So guys that like to play that series stuff and look strong at that. But I think Bama is down a little bit. And, they lost to Florida State in the season opener. Then they beat a weak team. And then they beat a Wisconsin team that was without their starting quarterback. So really in this one, I think the way Georgia's going, again, I know they had to rally late to beat Tennessee in OT, but at home and laying a short number like this, I'm going to be looking at the Bulldogs in this one.
Yeah, I thought that number was a little odd, again, that it moved down. I expected it. In fact, last week when I did my numbers, I actually made Georgia 4.5 here. So either I'm off or the books are off and the movement is off in this one. And I'll trust my power rating. So we'll just leave it at that for now. Final game that we wanted to talk about as far as line moves are concerned, and sharp line moves on Sunday. And it's Ohio State at Washington at Husky Stadium. Great place to watch a game, folks. If you haven't been there, get a chance, go there. But the bottom line is this one opened up 9.5. Buckeyes, of course, the chalk, and it was bet down to 8 rather quickly. Now, as we speak, we've seen some numbers, where I should say right before we started the show, start to creep up a little bit towards Ohio State. So I saw some numbers out there getting back up to 8.5 and 9. But Scott, the first movement was Washington, and it dropped 1.5 points.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, I mean, I can understand like looking at the home dog here, but this is still a team that lost 5 of their last 7 games last season, and now who have they played so far this season? And Ohio State, of course, one of the top teams out there. Yes, Texas ends up looking like they're down a little bit, but still, Ohio State did knock off UT already. I think that I'm going to be looking at Ohio State here.
This game is going to be my best bet. I'm going to get to it in just a second. I want to let everybody know that you can find all of Scott's plays, Scott Rickenbach, and mine over at DocSports.com on our handicappers individual pages. You can find out what we got each and every single day if you want to jump on board. And don't forget about that $60 free account. Not yet a member, click on the link below the video. Get yourself set up for the free 60. You can use those free $60 on any of our daily packages. Scott, I'm going to start with you. Let's talk best bets, my friend. What do you got?
Yeah, actually, I wasn't expecting to do this, Scott, but the more I've looked at it, I like Georgia for those reasons I noted above. Just I think there's good value here with Georgia, and I'm sorry, I'm having some trouble with my eyes here,
Oh,
some
no problem, man.
allergy problems with the eyes here. So it's anyway, but the Bulldogs are what I'm going to go with my best bet here for this week. I really like them getting. I think we've got good value here. I think Bama is just a little bit down from where they've been before, and Georgia is a solid play here at home, in my opinion.
I like it. And I was going to tell you that, my eyes were doing the same thing when I lost Philly or the Rams earlier today.
Oh
Early
yes,
Sunday against Philly with the blocked field goal return for a touchdown. My eyes were kind of doing that too, and it wasn't from allergies. But
yes, yeah. And I lost that one too, Scott. That was a tough beat. So maybe I'm still having some residual effect from
that's
that
what
as
it is.
well. So
Yeah.
yes.
It's catching up to you. I'm going to go with the best bet on the Buckeyes, and I'm going against that initial sharp action. I mean, again, most books open 9.5, 10, dropped all the way down to 8. It's climbed back up a little bit, 8.5, couple of 9s out there as we cut the show. But after everything that I mentioned about this game, I am backing the Buckeyes. The number dropped again to as low as 8. 3 running backs are averaging over 120 yards rushing. I like saying the quarterback, 79% completion rate. He's never looked panicky, handled the Texas occasion well. And good luck defending Smith and Tate, the wideouts for Ohio State if you're Washington. Throw in some really top shelf tight ends that could be in the NFL in a year or two for Ohio State. UW wants to run first, and I don't think that's going to work well against the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think eventually Ohio State opens it up a little bit and wins this game by double digits. So Scott Rickenbach's best bet is the Georgia Bulldogs. My best bet is the Ohio State Buckeyes. Listen, guys, again, you can check out all of our work at DocSports.com and go ahead and comment on these videos. I'm going to be looking at the comments a little more often than normal throughout the week, each and every week throughout the football season. We certainly do appreciate the turnout, so to speak, the view counts last week. Thanks to those of you who jumped on board and who commented on the videos. He's Scott Rickenbach. I'm Scott Spreitzer. You know what to do, everybody. Put them in the win column and check us out all week long on YouTube, DocSports.com. Take care, everybody.